So my favorite movie that we watched was The Matrix. This was my first time seeing this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised to actually enjoy the story and visuals that as much as I did. Going through it, or going into it, I didn't expect the movie or the plot of the movie to be as good as it was. I was, more thinking that it would be an average plot with, good fight scenes and, good action. Come to find out that it was probably, the plot of the movie was probably the thing that I liked the most about it. Neo is a great character, especially, the transformation that he goes through throughout the movie. Finally hitting his peak in the final scene. Morpheus and Trinity are also cool characters that I think really add on to, Neo's character, and I think the three of them, complement each other nicely. Agent Smith is also a fantastic villain that, especially because he's kind of like the opposite of Neo. So it's, there's kind of a contrasting, fight that's going on. Yeah, I think the setting is cool. I really liked how the movie gave a contrast of, the Matrix where, that's what we're, used to. And then it gives you the real world, which is, this dystopian environment, where the machines have taken over. The music in the movie is fantastic. I really, I think that it adds on to scenes, whether it was suspense or sadness or triumph. And the overall look of the film is unlike any film that I've seen before this. It has kind of like a grunge goth vibe, but the characters' personalities don't really offer that vibe. So it's, it's an interesting, a complement of those two. This was a fantastic movie from start to finish. It grabs you from the first moment, and throughout the movie, you are introduced to more and more suspense and thrill, kind of reaching, the climax at the very end. You're always wondering like what's going to happen next. My least favorite film we watched was Pulp Fiction, and I know this is not going to be a very popular ideology, but I was really not impressed by anything in this movie. I don't think there was any plot in this movie, and I don't think that the movie had any direction. And I was left, more than once throughout the movie, watching scenes and wondering, like, what does this have to do with anything? Um, it felt to me like the movie was just a bunch of independent scenes that offered, nothing to an overarching plot. The characters were probably the most interesting part of the movie. I really liked Vincent Vega. I think he was fun to watch, and I think he was a character that I would have liked, you know, the entire movie to be more focused around. Marcellus was intriguing. Um, and I don't think we got enough of him. I would have liked to see him more. Jules was a fun character that always made the scene more fun, and had he showed a lot of emotion throughout the movie. As well as Mia Wallace, who I think should have been in the movie more because I think she was played brilliantly by Uma Thurman, and it would have been nice to have a movie revolve around the four of those characters, as well as Winston Wolfe, who was a cool character with not a lot of screen time at all. The setting was boring. I don't think it added anything to the movie. I can't even really tell you where the movie was set. Um, I think the coolest, environment that they were in was the restaurant, the drive-in restaurant, with Mia and Vincent, and I think that was, what I thought was probably the most interesting, or one of the most interesting scenes in the movie. I think their dialogue was extremely boring, but then they had that dance scene, which was fun, and I think that that was the most interesting environment that they had. I think the music was in the film was good. I don't necessarily think that. I don't remember ever thinking that the movie or that the music was taking away from scenes. I do remember thinking in a couple scenes that the music really played into what was going on. So I think the music was fine, and the overall look of the film was good. I think the characters looks paired well with their personalities. I think the camera shots were really good. I think the movie overall was filmed very nicely, but I think the movie overall was shot good as I said, but the characters are good, and I think the real thing was that was missing was a plot, and I think without a plot, you can't really go far with the movie. At least personally, I think a good plot is maybe the most important thing in a movie. In a movie that I think that I would like to see from this time period, and I was introduced to in the Ebert and Maslin show, was Three Kings. It seemed like a movie that's right up my alley with an intriguing plot, great characters with Ice Cube, or great actors with Ice Cube, George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg. The plot revolves around three men that are after treasure in the aftermath of the Persian Gulf War, and along the way, they find many people that need their help. And I love movies with treasure hunts. I like military movies, and I like movies that where people need to save others, and need to get out safely, kind of like an extraction type thing. So yeah, that's a movie that I thought, I think would really be up my alley.